we got that out of the way, let's do this review. What's up everyone, Dreamkiller coming at you in another video, and it's time to talk about this. The new Star Wars movie is out. Star Wars The Last Jedi is out in theaters. I saw it yesterday, and so we got a lot to discuss. This is a spoiler review. I will save the spoilers for the end, and I will give a brief synopsis before I get into spoilers. And right now I'm just gonna say right at the bat, whether you're a Star Wars fan or not, you really should go see this movie. It's beyond amazing. But it's not without its problems, and again, we'll discuss that in spoilers. So let's start it out. Acting wise, everyone gives out their A game. Mark Hamill, Mark Hamill, man, he's so great in this movie. Daisy Ridley, great. I forget his name. The guy that plays Finn, I don't know. He does a good job. The guy that plays Poe. Carrie Fisher, oh my god. Man, there's so much to talk about Carrie Fisher. But she's great. Quite possibly her final role. Everyone is at their A game at this point, so acting was superb. Visually, this is the most stunning looking Star Wars movie I've ever seen in a long time. The sets, I can't believe most of these sets were hand done. They were all made by hand with CG involved, obviously, because, you know, this movie can't be without CG. I mean, it is what it is. But the blending of practical effects and CGI is just superb, and I'm so happy that they decided to go with this type of situation here. So it's just beautiful. Creatures are looking good. The planets, the very few planets we got to see, because the movie was mostly set inside of the space. And again, visually stunning. Story-wise, it's a strong story, but again, it has its problems, and again, we'll discuss that in spoilers. But overall, it's a good experience, and again, whether you're a Star Wars fan or not, this is worth your time. Hell, I mean, if you've had any doubts about whether you want to go see a Star Wars movie, maybe not start here, because, you know, there's a lot of story plots that involve the older films. So yeah, don't start here. But you know, if you've been on the fence getting into Star Wars, this movie will change your mind. That's really all I got to say without spoiling anything. So again, you know, I've already put out the spoiler warning before this video even started, but you know what? I'm just gonna throw this little thing right here throughout my entire spoiler section, just to remind you, this is gonna be filled with a lot of stuff that you probably shouldn't be listening to if you have not seen this movie. Please, for the love of God, go see this movie. Stop this video. Stop and come back when you've seen everything, because I really don't want to hear in the comment section how I spoiled this movie, because I gave you enough warning. It's been a couple days since this movie's been out. I know a good majority of the people went to the midnight screenings the day it opened up. There's a good majority of people that have already gotten to see this movie that are willing to hear out what I need to say about this movie. But again, for those people that just don't seem to have ears, stop, please stop this video. The visual cues are enough that this is gonna be spoiled. So just stop. Just stop. Go see the movie and come back. So, let's get into spoilers. Let's start with things that were wasted in this movie. Let's start with a big thing that was wasted, and that is Supreme Leader Snoke. What was the point of him? I mean, let's be real here. Ever since the last movie, you know, they made him look like this ominous being that's all-powerful Sith Lord. You know, there's rumors go about wanting to know who he is. Is he Darth Plagueis, the guy, the all-powerful Sith Lord that trained the Emperor? You know, or did he come back to life? Or was he not really dead? And now he's part of villain in this movie. Is he Mace Windu? Because I've heard a lot of speculation, and you know, fanfare is saying it was Mace Windu who suddenly came back from the dead and is suddenly evil. Everybody wanted to know who this guy is, but did this movie explain anything? Fuck no, because they killed him off. Yep, answer him honestly too. I mean, don't get me wrong, and when the death happened, everyone was clapping, cheering, but even I was clapping, but then once I realized, What am I clapping and cheering for? I don't even know who this guy is. Literally, we don't get an explanation in this movie. We don't get an explanation in the last movie. Who knows, maybe we'll get an explanation in the next movie, but that's just kind of up in the air at this point because we got nothing. We just got his death, and his death wasn't even earned because we don't know about him. We just know that he partially is responsible for turning Kylo Ren to the dark side. And funny enough, it was Kylo Ren that killed him. So, in the movie, Rey is trying to convince Kylo Ren. They had these Force talks where the Force is connecting them and they're able to talk to each other, and Rey is seriously convinced that she can turn Kylo Ren over to the light side, and it works. And because that's half the reason why he ended up killing Snoke in the end, because he kind of believed in Rey's words. So, using the Force, he just used Rey's lightsaber that was right next to him, Snoke, and just ignited it. And it went through him, and then he just used the Force to push it back and slice him in half, kind of like unceremoniously like Darth Maul. And how the fuck Snoke didn't sense that Kylo Ren was doing that, I have no idea, because, they made it seem like he's all-powerful. He can, manipulate the Force. He can use Force lightning. He was giving Rey a hard time. How he was not able to see that coming, I don't know. And again, the death was not earned. Because in the end, we got no knowledge of this guy, and it's a squander. What was the point of Snoke? Well, I guess we'll never know. Maybe we'll find out more through explanation in the next movie. I don't know, because I don't know what's going on through Disney's mind when they're writing these stories. I don't know what's going on, what they want to do, and at this point, I'm just going to have to wait. See what the next movie has in store. But yeah, squandered potential from Snoke. He dies in the second movie, and we don't even get to know a damn thing about him. That's a shame, because all the speculation and fan theories made it really seem like it was worth it all in the end. But again, it wasn't. And of course, Kylo Ren ends up being the new Supreme Leader, and he goes up on a tirade to try to stop the resistance, but it fails ultimately in the end. And that's it. That's the one squander there. Another squander is, so Captain Phasma comes back in this movie, and everyone can agree that her potential was squandered in the first movie. It's even more squandered here because they have for like a couple of scenes towards the very end of the movie, and her and Finn are both confronting each other, and in the end he wins, and she dies in a fiery explosion, and that's all we get out of her. And again, it's just, what's the point of having a character if you're not gonna flush that character out in any way, shape, or form? Because again, it's just there's nothing for Captain Phasma to do other than to be in these scenes and just look cool. I mean, her armor is pretty effective because her armor was able to deflect blaster shots, which I was not expecting, but that's about it. And again, and we got to see a little bit of, I don't know who the actress name is. She's on Game of Thrones. She plays that blonde chick, that big man-looking chick on Game of Thrones. We just see a little bit of her through the mask, but that's all we get. She makes a few jabs at Finn, saying he's a rebel, or he's a failure, he's a traitor and a rebel, and Finn makes his own little jab at her, and again, she just falls to a flaming death. And again, her death's not even earned, because we just didn't get enough of her. And I swear to God, if they find a way to bring her back to life, I'm just gonna call bullshit and just ignore her, because at the end of the day, Captain Phasma was a throwaway character. A cool looking throwaway character, but just no. Okay, and now we got into the squandered potential characters. Let's talk about the death fake outs, and one death that was actually, fake out at first, but then it was actually true. So, we gotta talk about Carrie Fisher, Princess or General Leia. Sorry. So, with Carrie Fisher's death, they had to. I knew they were gonna address her death somehow, and I thought they were gonna save her for the next movie. And they are going to save it for the next movie, because let me explain why. So they have the scene that was played out in the trailer where Kylo Ren, they make it seem like he's going to kill his mother, blast her out of her ship. And they go to that scene, and he hesitates and he lets go. He wasn't gonna kill her, but his two little fighters that were behind him do it for him, and she gets shot off into the black abyss of space. And I was willing to accept that. I mean, I thought they were going to save, at first I thought they were going to save her explanation for her death in the next movie, but originally I thought maybe they just did a reshoot or no, they couldn't have done a reshoot. I thought they did something to address her death, but what I thought was a twist in the knife we'll use when they show off her lifeless corpse in space. I'm like, no, it's bad enough you stab me with her going into space and me knowing that she's probably dead. It's another thing to just twist that knife and just show her lifeless body in space. But then she suddenly comes back to life and uses the Force and Superman's her way back into the ship, and I was so like, this is bullshit, because it raises so many questions. One, she can use the Force. How far does first of all, how does she get those powers? Maybe Luke trained her a little bit, but if that's the case, how much does her power extend? Maybe we'll get an explanation for that in the next movie, but then again, they're going to address her death in the next movie because Carrie Fisher's unfortunately passed from this world last year, and it's a sad thing. But apart from that bullshit, her performance was still incredible. It's nice to see her do this one last role. And again, we all miss Carrie Fisher. Her death still haunts many Star Wars fans, including myself. I still can't believe she's gone half the time. But that's the one death fake out. The second death fake out was Finn. So towards the end of the movie, they're locked up in this fortified base on this planet, and the First Order, the only way they can open it is to this battery ram canning, is what they call it. And so the only way Finn sees to destroy it is just to go headway and just with his ship and just destroy it from within, and he was making the noble sacrifice. And then one of the new characters that they brought in, named Rose, stops him because in the end she reveals, she secretly loves him, and it's a kind of forced love thing. She kisses him, and then it just doesn't go anywhere after that. So that's a fake out. I would have been mad if they actually killed off Finn, because it's would have been another death that was not earned, and also would have been unnecessary. But overall, I'm glad they kind of faked it out. But at the same time, what was the point of the fake out? And the last death fake out / turned real death, Luke Skywalker. Luke astral projects himself onto the planet where they're being held up at. We didn't really, the audience and myself included, didn't think it was an astral projection. We always thought he was there. And he confronts Kylo Ren, and he's dodging around and fighting. But then it turns out he was an astral projection, because Kylo Ren slashes him. It has no effect. Then he just pokes him with the lightsaber. It turns out he's not really there. And it was just a distraction. Luke was just a distraction so that the remaining resistance could escape. But then once he leaves his astral projection, he's back on his island, and he looks out to the sun, and the music from that music where in the original movie where he was looking out on the sunset plays, and it's a homage to that scene. And I was kind of grinning from seeing that homage. It was a good homage, but then he suddenly disappears and he's dead, and that raises a lot of questions, because Mark Hamill did say he was going to be in the third movie, but I guess maybe he's going to be in spiritual form. I don't know, we'll find out, but wasn't kind of expecting it. So that was the death fake outs and the real death in the end. So in the end, Luke is the one that dies, so Han's gone, Luke's gone, and I guess, you know, we're really going to have to admit Carrie Fisher, or Leia's going to be gone, because they got to address Carrie Fisher's death. So after the third movie, our original cast will be gone. The original three will be gone, and that's a sad thing. Well, at least Chewie will still be there, and C-3PO. Yeah, I mean, at least the original cast is not completely gone, but those original three will be gone, and it'll be left to the newbies to pick up the torch. And yeah. That's really the biggest spoilers I can give. So basically what the story amounts to is, you know, Resistance are trying to prevent the First Order from dwindling their numbers, because for some reason they're losing, which I don't understand. They destroyed Starkiller Base in the last movie, so how are they losing people or anything or whatever? I don't know. And Rey's trying to learn how to control her force powers and trying to reveal who she is. Oh, that's one thing. So, take it for what it is or not. So, after the Snoke death, and her and Kylo Ren and Rey both have this back-to-back fight with his guards, which the guards were badass looking in the fight scene, and was cool. So we all thought that Kylo Ren may have turned good, but it turns out he just wants to, you know, be his own person, still be evil, but be his own person. He doesn't want anyone to control him anymore. He's his own man, and that's why he comes up with the idea he's the supreme leader now. And he makes the reveal. I want to think it's not really true, because maybe he's just saying that to be a dick. But he tells Rey that she knew all along who her parents were, and they were just junkers on Jakku that just abandoned her. And it's just so anticlimactic, because everyone's making their own fan theories as to who Rey's parents are, who Finn's parents are, because we still don't know much about Finn's ancestry, but many people were focusing on Rey's ancestry. Was he Luke's daughter? Was he Han's daughter? Was he Obi-Wan's daughter? Granddaughter? Whatever. We just really wanted to know, and it was kind of an anticlimactic reveal that she was just the daughter of Junkers. But again, I'm kind of suspicious of that, because maybe I'm still thinking maybe Kylo was just saying that just to be a dick and get her riled off, because maybe we'll get more information on that. Again, I really don't know if we're gonna get more information in the third movie. So let's just get to this. J.J. Abrams is picking up a lot after this movie, because he will be directing the final the final movie to this sequel trilogy, and he has a lot to pick up from this movie, and it's a lot of negative plot hole stuff that doesn't really make a lot of sense. But overall, it's still an enjoyable movie. There's a lot of problems with it, and I can understand why now, because as it stands right now, the critics love this movie. It's got like a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes, while the audience rating is average. It's like sitting at like 60-ish percent. And it's caused a lot of definity around the Star Wars fandom, and I can understand that, and at the same time I can't understand that, because it's small problems that honestly could be fixed easily, maybe, in the last movie, but I really don't know at the end of the day. But I can understand the critiques among Star Wars fans. It's a lot of problems, but I think they can be solved if J.J. Abrams is a smart man and finds a way to end this the way we want it to end. But at the end of the day, it's all up in the air what the hell the third movie's gonna tell us. And so that's it. That's really all I can say. That's all the spoilers, everything I can say. At the end of the day, this movie has bad things in it, but it doesn't stop this film from being an enjoyable, action-packed thriller with a lot of suspenseful stuff and a lot of reveals that we weren't expecting. Basically, since The Force Awakens was playing it safe, and this movie took the chance and made a lot of bold decisions. Most of them were not smart, but a lot of them I do appreciate. And I hope J.J. Abrams makes more bold decisions that are a little bit more smart than what Rian Johnson, I think his name is, did. And hopefully Rian Johnson, since there's the confirmed notion that he will be making his own trilogy of Star Wars movies after this, hopefully Rian Johnson will be a little bit more smart when it comes to the lore of Star Wars and maybe try to do better as the future rolls on with those movies. But overall, this movie's enjoyable. It has its problems, but don't let those problems stop you. This is the most enjoyable Star Wars movie I've seen in quite a long time. It's a lot to discuss. My mouth is fucking dry. I need water, so at the end of the day, go see this movie. It gets my seal of approval. It's by far one of the best Star Wars movies to date. Go and see it. You will not be disappointed. That's it. That's my review. Holy hell, that was a lot to talk about. If you liked this video, hit that like button because my channel grows because of it. And subscribe because, as always, I have many more videos to come like this. Follow me on my social networks and just support me as best you can. Thank you all for watching. I'm Dreamkiller. Gamers keep on gaming, and Star Wars fans keep on rocking.